Hello Islanders, my name is Anissa Hilaire and I'm back again with another one of our weekly weather forecasts. Today is Wednesday, March 5th, 2025. First things first, we're going to be jumping into our weather objectives for this week. We're going to be looking at sunny days, we're going to be looking at a breezy week, some 70s and 80s for the temperatures, and then humidity roller coaster values. Now before we get into all of that, we're going to be looking at our issued warnings from the National Weather Service. Yesterday we had a red flag warning that was from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. That is where we saw 20 to 30 mile per hour winds as well as 45 mile per hour wind gusts. We also had a small craft warning that was valid until 9 p.m. last night, where there was 15 to 25 mile per hour knots and 30 knot wind gusts and choppy waters. Now to give you a little bit of visual representation, I have this model behind me, and we're going to be seeing this brown color being pushed from the west coast all the way to east. Now this area of brown is going to be our dry air, and we're seeing this the whole state being covered in this dry area, and in this dry area also consists of strong winds. So we had a lot of dry air and strong winds yesterday, which caused some fires throughout town. Now this green color that is being pushed by the dry air all the way to the east coast, this is going to be an area of a lot of moisture, so a lot of these areas experienced heavy rain showers yesterday. Now moving along to our traffic, we have a little bit of a slowdown in this intersection from Ocean and Ennis, a little bit of a slowdown from Ennis to Almeda, and then a little bit of a slowdown from Nile to Ennis, those intersections. But other than that, pretty smooth sailing. Same thing as we move into Airline until we get to the intersection of McArdle and Airline, and then same thing McArdle with Staples, as well as the SPID and Staples intersection. But as we move along to SPID and all the way up to the Crosstown Expressway to downtown, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. Of course, just be careful of these areas of construction. Now moving on to our temperature outlook this week. For the day, actually, we're going to be looking at 65 degrees. That's what we saw this morning. Right now it's about 71 degrees, and then this evening it is going to get 55 degrees. Consistently sunny skies throughout the day though. For our temperature outlook for the day, as I said, it's going to be 71 degrees right now, and we had a high of 78, and this evening we'll get a low of 55. It does feel like 71 degrees, and that's thanks to this 50 mile per hour winds from the northeast direction. Unfortunately, no rain, but we do have this pretty low humidity, and as I mentioned, that's a pretty considerate roller coaster value that I'll get into in just a second. Now for a 7-day forecast, we're going to be looking at pretty sunny skies throughout the week. Today, pretty sunny. We're going to see a little bit clouds on Thursday, a little bit more clouds Friday, and then a little bit of clouds on Saturday, and then as we move into Sunday through Tuesday, pretty sunny skies. Now today and tomorrow we have high 70s, and then we're going to see our 80s for the week before we drop back down into the 70s again for the week. As far as rain for the week, again, as I mentioned, it's going to be 0 for today and then pretty low throughout the week. So if you were bagging on your car getting washed by the rain, you should probably just go to the car wash. And then for our humidity values, pretty low throughout this week. Like I mentioned, today it's 29, but yesterday with all that dry air from the red flag warning, it was actually 9% humidity. So it went from 9 to 29. And then tomorrow we're going to be looking at 51, and then the highest we're going to see this week is 69, and then pretty low for the rest of the week. And now for our moon phases this week, we're going to be in the last night of the waxing crescent, and then tomorrow we're going to be looking at the first quarter and then the waxing gibbous for the week. Now the first quarter is a time for working on things, and then the waxing gibbous is going to be a time for perseverance. Now that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.